What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Justin Fortune. Justin Fortune, if you guys don't know who that is the strength and conditioning coach of Manny Pacquiao. He was once with Manny Pacquiao years ago. Then he returned back to his corner at the beginning of the Floyd Mayweather fight, okay? And now he is in cahoots, or should I say in quarrels with Freddie Roach. And this is what he had to say. He said that I will never work with Freddie Roach again. He accused me of having Manny Pacquiao's legs too tight before the fight. That's why they were cramping, due to the fact that he was overtrained. And he accused me of overtraining Manny Pacquiao by running the heels. And he is not a real man. He is a coward because he couldn't say it in my face. Instead, he said it to someone else. In my book, that is called a coward. And if I had something to say to him, I would have said it to him, but I will never work with Freddie Roach again. Those are the words of Justin Fortune. Let me counterpunch. First off, I don't know what the reasoning between or behind Justin and Freddie Roach falling out the first time, because they fell out a long time ago. Okay. Now, I think this was either right before or after Freddie Roach. Of course, you had Michael Moore in the corner with Manny Pacquiao back in the day, and that was a pretty successful team. But then Freddie, of course, fell out with Michael Moore, and Michael Moore left the camp. Justin Fortune left the camp. Alex Ariza left the camp. A lot of fighters that came along, or should I say trainers, like Ben Davison with Tyson Fury, there was some discrepancies there, some quarrels and confusion and little arguments here and there, disagreements between them two there also. And I'm saying all this because if you look at consistencies of how people, get along with other people that they have to work with in order to get a job done, okay? I feel that at the end of the day, Manny Pacquiao was in a lose-lose situation anyway, because he then had to adjust his training and be ready for a different type of training. Therefore, I think he overtrained, okay? It's a hell of a thing when you have to change up your whole game plan when it comes to a totally different fighter due to the other fighter's injury. Errol Spence was a southpaw. He thought he was going to fight a southpaw from a totally different stance. When that change happened, which was about 2 weeks, right, around that 2-week mark, he had to then start training and focusing on another strategy, which consisted of more strength and conditioning. I've seen how Justin Fortune, I've seen how Coach Fortune pushes Manny, okay? He's like, hey, we're not done, and then he will tell Manny, when Manny's tired, he will tell him and push him like, hey, we're not finished. You got to get back in there, and then maybe it was a little bit of overtraining or whatever, okay? That's either here or there. But there is a reason why that man's legs were cramping. Now, it could be a combination of Justin pushing him too hard, the readjustment of training after the fact of acknowledging a different fighter, on top of the age, mixed alongside the age of Manny Pacquiao. Because Manny Pacquiao is 42 years old, 42 and a half. Okay, this is September. Okay, December he'll be 43. So maybe it's a combination between the two, and I think both guys should really consider what's apparent, what's right in front of them. Manny Pacquiao can't do the same things he did at 33 versus 23, okay? This is 20-some-odd years in the game. He made a great account of himself, given that he was 42 years of age. Do you really want to blame or place the whole blame on Justin Fortune because of the age of Manny Pacquiao? And in that essence, did he overtrain? More than likely he did. But does that really mean counterpunching Freddie Roach that he needs to tell everyone else that, because it seems to me that he's looking for excuses just as well as Manny Pacquiao looked for excuses as his damn self. Okay? And then it's almost like, hey, this is what it's appearing like. I have no fault of my own. Even though I'm the head coach, I lay all the fault on the physical strengthening conditioning trainer. That's what it seems like. Like, hey, I play no part in Manny Pacquiao coming in his legs tight. That's totally somebody else's fault. Versus acknowledging, hey, well, my fighter ain't young no more. He's seasoned, he's still talented, but he's not young anymore. You know what I mean? That couldn't play into that just a bit. You know what I mean? And if it doesn't, it just shows you that it's Freddie Roach trying to look for an excuse on why Manny Pacquiao got beat by the younger fighter, Dennis Ugas. And he's using Jeff Fortune to do it. Now, I'll say this in closing. You can tell that it was an scapegoat now, looking at everything out on the table, because had he actually, believed that Jeff Fortune played sole responsibility in that or whatever, he would have came to Jeff first and said, hey, well, maybe we trained him too hard. But when he took the route and made the decision to go to the public, that's just him conveying to the public what he wants the public to hear. If that makes sense. Okay, so for him saying it's justice, it might be his fault that he was overtrained, fair enough, but to tell everyone that means that he wanted everyone else to know it, instead of telling Jeff Fortune himself to get on the next time to get the job rectified so he won't do, overtraining of that fighter. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Justin Fortune's comments towards Freddie Roach and Team Pacquiao. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.